Greetings, viewers and subscribers. This is BVI Channel 1, where we tell you undiluted truth. I know some of you have seen the video where Tinubu was lamenting over the hardship, the inflation, and the economic crisis Nigeria is facing, which he linked to the war in the Middle East.
We thank God that we all started together and we end being together. I am very, very surprised at the short notice that this number is extremely impressive. It shows our sincerity, commitment, and the value of friendship and togetherness. I thank every one of you for what we have been doing. And to say this, I know this Middle East crisis will elicit inflation, will affect our purchasing power, the labor union and others will be gearing to ask us to support them because of the effect of the Middle East war and prices at the pumps, resulting in transportation problems and high prices. Even though the chairman had said there's no need for policy discussion, we should rejoice. I'm glad you have something to back.
Good. You heard that right? What a hypocrite. The same man that said to Nigerians that his major agenda is to reduce the purchasing power of Nigerians.
We reduce the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy. Let's widen the tax net. Those who are not paying now, if it is inclusive of Bola Tinubu, let the nets get bigger and we take in more taxes, and that is what we must do in the country.
And today he's lamenting that the economic crisis Nigeria is facing is as a result of war in Iran. You can imagine that nonsense. And before I even delve into responding to this man who thinks that Nigerians are fools, let me bring to you another level of hypocrite by another stakeholder, Dangote, who went to visit Tinubu and came out with, after discussing with Tinubu whatsoever they had discussed there, had told the press this rubbish.
So we're having a situation from part of the world, volatility in the oil sector, and the effect on Nigeria and other parts of the world. What does this mean, really?
Well, it means quite a lot. We don't have much to do with it, but you know the world is a global village, and it definitely will affect us, unfortunately, but we pray this situation will be sorted out. It's not going to escalate. If it doesn't de-escalate, we'll end up paying, big prices. Like what I said earlier on to CNN, if you look at it today, Africa is very busy paying debt, and putting this again on top of us is going to add a lot of hardship on people, on the governments, on the people, on everybody, for something that we have no really any involvement in it. If you look at it now, when you talk about energy affects almost everything, and it's not only energy. Some people will try and take a chance and say, this is an opportunity, so let me make money. You know, so if this thing doesn't de-escalate, it is going to keep going up and up and up. And governments cannot really now go and add salaries also. So people will really, really feel the hinge. People who are now doing, barbers, people who are doing bread, people who have industries, who have to pay their own generator. You know, I mean, you can see in some countries today what they've done, they ask everybody to work from home because they cannot, I think Indonesia also, they say no, only go to work 4 days a week, and they will look at the situation. If it doesn't improve, they will ask everybody not to go to work anymore. We will do like that time of COVID, where people will now go and work from home. So I pray, and we all need to pray that this thing de-escalates. If it doesn't de-escalate, normally we in Africa, we don't have any reserves in terms of savings or in terms of this. And so people normally go out and look for money for the next day or for the even same day, some of them. If they don't work that day, they won't eat. So I think really we just need all hands on deck to pray that this thing comes to an end.
I call it rubbish because he is Dangote, the owner of the biggest refinery in Africa. And here is the man that he went to visit in Aso Rock, Tinubu, who is in charge of Nigerian resources, which includes crude oil. Now, ask the question, how come Nigerian crude oil and petroleum products being produced in Nigeria by Dangote is now exposed to the war in Iran or foreign market? The price being determined. And moreover, let me just say this, because if you take a look at the countries that are in the Middle East, the countries that are even directly being hit by the war, their prices didn't change.
He's
trying to explain how much they are selling fuel in the
Middle East. He wants
to show us how much they are selling fuel in the Middle East where he resides.
Premium 91 fuels, Super 95 fuels, Ultra 98 fuels. Fuels are now the Noka 91 kobo, as in Uru 1 naira, Uru 100 fuels per liter. As an each go highest petrol, quality of petrol, go Ultra 98 fuels, Uru 100. Kifuze go ninja full tank. Near 3 kg kito name change 250 fuels. So yenji buy full tank for ya 2 kg 750 fuels, 30 something liters. Yenji buy full tank na naira, Uru 12,000 naira.
So you had it.
Ega nke tantuara na naira, Uru 12,000 kanji buy full tank.
Said he used about 12,000 naira to fill.
Mana ndi mbu na achi ay gwara no maka war me petrol di tinye ego.
And when some people want to argue in respect or in support of this regime of impunity, they will tell you the prices of fuel in dollar, if you convert it. Now, if you convert the amount of the price of fuel in some of the developed countries, we are not even looking at the minimum wage of these countries. So we are not even looking at it, because if you look at it, oh boy, Nigerians should be angry by now. Nigerians are not expressing anger enough, and that is why this government or regime is taking us for granted. If you look at some of the countries, check both Dubai, Libya, the Middle East countries, even the US and the rest of them, and compare the minimum wage of Nigeria, which is at 70,000, and you are now selling a liter of fuel for more than 1,500 per liter, which is $1. $1. Who is now deceiving who? Nigerians, we are all turned into slaves. We are no longer talking about the colonial era. We are not talking about the slave era where people are being captured and sold into slavery. But here, we are being captured by this government and we have been sold into slavery in Nigeria. As I speak, we are running generator. If I tell you how much I spend on daily basis to fuel my generator to keep exposing this government, it is unbearable. It is unbearable. I'm telling you honestly, because there is no light. The same man that promised Nigerians electricity, and that if he doesn't provide electricity, nobody should vote for him, is the one forcing himself back again into Asorok.
Whichever way, by all means necessary, you must have electricity, and you will not pay for estimated bill anymore. A promise made will be a promise kept. If I can't keep the promise and I come back for second term, don't vote for me.
As far as I'm concerned, I know Nigerians will not vote for him, but he's trying to muzzle his way through the institutions of impunity they've already set up to ensure they recycle themselves back into power. But I tell Nigerians why I'm making these videos, not to continue in the lamentation, but to tell them that the power belongs to them. Until we say enough is enough, this government will continue to take us for a ride. And that is the truth. It is not a revolution of where 2 or 3 are gathered. It's not a revolution that is looking for who is going to lead. If we are angry enough, this country will go up in flames to put an end to this regime of impunity. I am not a promoter of breakdown of law and order, but I'm telling the Nigerian people, the sovereignty of Nigeria rests on you and not the few politicians in power. I'm telling you, and that is my position. And it begins from here. That is where the revolution starts. Change the way you think. Change your attitude. Change your attitude towards governance and politicians. Stop being a stooge in their hands. Stop being an instrument in their hands. Because when the election comes, it is same suffering Nigerians that will continue being their foot soldiers to rig election, relight election result, intimidate voters, carry borrow buses and the rest of them. You don't see politicians do that by themselves. And that is why I am sending out this message. Until Nigerians have enough, don't expect anything to change for good. My name is Asuchiro Peters, your advocate for good governance. If this message makes sense to you, help me share it to everyone. I'm signing out. Bye-bye for now.